Get ready to discover the story of a man who defied speed and ran faster than the king's horses in ancient times. A surprising event left everyone astonished when an ordinary man accomplished an extraordinary feat. How did he manage to surpass the strength and speed of the finest royal horses? In this video, we will unravel this mystery and explore the power hidden behind this incredible achievement. Stay tuned. The story you are about to hear is one of the most incredible and fascinating in the Bible. In a time of great religious and political tension in Israel, a powerful figure emerged who challenged kings and false gods of the era. This man, driven by divine force, performed feats that still astonish us today. In the book of 1 Kings, chapter 18, we find one of the most extraordinary moments of his life. After a dramatic confrontation with the prophets of Baal, he demonstrated not just his spiritual power, but also an astonishing physical strength. This event changed history and marked the faith of a people. Let's discover now how he achieved what seemed impossible to human eyes. To understand the extraordinary feat of this man, we must know the historical context in which he lived. At that time, Israel was ruled by King Ahab and Queen Jezebel. They promoted the worship of the pagan god Baal, causing great division among the people. Baal was considered the god of fertility and storms, and his cults often involved rituals contrary to God's laws. Spiritual and moral corruption spread throughout, and the true God of Israel seemed to have been forgotten. In this chaotic and challenging scenario, a powerful prophet called by God emerged to restore faith and obedience among the Israelites. His mission was clear: to confront the false gods and demonstrate that the Lord was the only true God. This context of religious and political conflict sets the stage for the incredible event we are about to explore. Elijah, the prophet called by God, directly challenged the prophets of Baal to an epic confrontation on Mount Carmel. He proposed a definitive test to show who was the true God. Both Elijah and the 450 prophets of Baal were to prepare a sacrifice on an altar, but without lighting a fire. The true God would be the one who responded with fire from heaven to consume the sacrifice. From morning until noon, the prophets of Baal cried out, danced, and cut themselves waiting for a response, but nothing happened. No sound, no fire, just silence. Then Elijah began to mock them, suggesting that perhaps their God was sleeping or busy with another task. In the afternoon, Elijah gathered the people and rebuilt the Lord's altar using 12 stones to represent the 12 tribes of Israel. He dug a trench around the altar, placed the wood, prepared the sacrifice, and ordered that 4 jars of water be poured over the sacrifice and wood. He repeated the command 3 times until the water soaked everything and filled the trench around the altar. Then Elijah prayed, "O Lord, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known today that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your command. Answer me, Lord, answer me, so that this people may know that you, Lord, are God, and that you have turned their hearts back to you." Immediately, the fire of the Lord fell from heaven and consumed the burnt offering, the wood, the stones, the earth, and even the water in the trench. Seeing this, the people prostrated themselves and exclaimed, "The Lord is God." This confrontation not only demonstrated the power of the true God, but also exposed the falsehood of the idols, restoring the faith of the people of Israel. After the dramatic confrontation on Mount Carmel, Elijah knew his mission was not yet finished. He had an important message for King Ahab. The drought that had plagued Israel for 3 years was about to end. Elijah told Ahab, "Go, eat and drink, for I hear the sound of a heavy rain." While Ahab ascended the mountain to celebrate, Elijah prepared for a crucial moment. He climbed to the top of Mount Carmel, prostrated himself with his face between his knees, and began to pray fervently. He knew the rain promised by God was about to fall, but there were still no signs of it. Elijah sent his servant 7 times to look towards the sea. The first 6 times, the servant returned with no news, but on the 7th time, he saw a small cloud the size of a man's hand rising from the sea. Elijah recognized this as a sign that rain was on the way. He then sent his servant to tell Ahab to prepare his chariot and descend before the rain stopped him. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation, and the tension in the air was palpable. Elijah, driven by divine force, girded his loins and prepared for what was to come. With unwavering determination and absolute faith, he was ready to perform an extraordinary feat, something that defied human logic and demonstrated once again the power of God. While Ahab was preparing to leave in his chariot pulled by the finest horses, Elijah set out to run, propelled by divine force. With the confirmation of the small cloud on the horizon, Elijah knew the great rain was about to arrive. He had warned Ahab to prepare his chariot and descend quickly before the storm detained him. King Ahab, trusting in the speed and strength of his horses, began his journey back to Jezreel. Meanwhile, Elijah, prepared for a crucial moment, positioned himself to run. Elijah was not just a powerful prophet in spirit, but he was also about to demonstrate extraordinary physical strength. What happened next was nothing short of a miracle. Each step Elijah took was driven by unwavering faith and a greater purpose. He was not running merely on his own strength, but with the divine energy that empowered him. Imagine the scene. A seemingly ordinary man surpassing the king's swiftest horses, not thanks to his physical training, but due to the strength of deep faith and a divine mission. Elijah did not just run. He soared across the terrain, demonstrating that with God, all things are possible. This display of power was not merely to showcase Elijah's physical ability, but to affirm the power of the God of Israel, who can empower his servants in unimaginable ways. Elijah's run was not just a race, it was a living testimony of God's power acting through his faithful servants. Elijah's journey to Jezreel was not easy. The distance of approximately 15 miles was filled with rugged terrain, steep hills, and challenging trails. Moreover, the imminent arrival of the storm made the ground slippery and visibility scarce. Running under such conditions would be a challenge for any normal person, but Elijah had a divine mission. As he advanced, the wind intensified and raindrops began to fall, turning the path into a muddy track. Yet each obstacle along the way seemed only to strengthen his determination. Elijah did not slow down. Instead, he continued with surprising strength and agility. The adverse conditions only further highlighted the miracle that was occurring. As the storm rapidly formed, Elijah continued his run, propelled by the divine force guiding him. The landscape around him constantly changed, but his speed and concentration remained unwavering. What would be impossible for any other human being, Elijah was achieving with impressive precision and confidence. He not only overcame the challenges of the terrain, but also demonstrated that with divine help, it is possible to overcome any obstacle. King Ahab, in his chariot pulled by the finest horses, was astonished to see Elijah running ahead of him. The royal chariot, designed for speed and efficiency, should have easily overtaken any pedestrian runner. Yet Elijah, moved by divine force, not only kept pace with the chariot, but surpassed it. For Ahab, this was more than surprising. It was an undeniable sign of God's power acting through Elijah. The onlookers, including the servants and the king's entourage, were stunned by what they saw. It was an incredible spectacle, a seemingly ordinary man surpassing the kingdom's best horses. On all faces, expressions of wonder and admiration were evident. This extraordinary feat not only demonstrated Elijah's incredible physical ability, but also reinforced his authority as a prophet of God. Elijah's run served as a powerful testimony to all who witnessed it, making it clear that the God of Israel was with him and granted him supernatural strength. This event deeply impacted everyone present, leaving a lasting impression of divine power. Elijah arrived in Jezreel before Ahab, demonstrating that the divine power moving him was greater than the strength of the king's horses. Elijah's arrival was not just a physical feat, but a powerful spiritual statement. When Elijah reached the gates of Jezreel, he had already covered a considerable distance under extreme conditions, something that would have been impossible without divine intervention. His quick arrival not only surprised Ahab, but also impacted all who witnessed the event. The city of Jezreel, which had been anxiously waiting for the king's return and the news of the rain's arrival, saw for the first time the solitary figure of Elijah, bringing with him the proof of God's power. This moment symbolized the victory of divine power over human forces, reinforcing the message that God was with Elijah and that true strength and speed came from the Lord. Elijah's arrival in Jezreel marked the end of an epic journey and the beginning of a new era of faith and hope for the people of Israel. Elijah's feat not only impressed those who witnessed it, but also reinforced his authority as a prophet of God. The run symbolized the urgency and importance of the message Elijah brought. It was the living proof that when we align ourselves with God's will, we can overcome human limits. Elijah's speed and strength, driven by God's power, were a clear demonstration that God can perform miracles through his servants. For the people of Israel, this event was a powerful reminder that God was present and active in their lives, willing to intervene and accomplish the impossible. Elijah's run became a story of inspiration and faith, demonstrating that trust in God can enable us to perform extraordinary feats. To this day, the story of Elijah leaving the king's horses behind continues to inspire generations, reminding us of the power of faith and God's ability to work miracles through his faithful servants. The story of Elijah leaving behind King Ahab's horses is much more than a remarkable physical feat. It offers deep lessons on faith, obedience, and the power of God. Elijah did not rely on his own strength, but on the strength that God gave him. He knew that to fulfill God's will, he needed to completely surrender to the Lord. This level of faith and dependence on God is something we can all aspire to in our lives. Reflecting on this story, we see that Elijah shows us what is possible when we are aligned with God's purposes. His run was not just an act of speed, but a symbol of the urgency and importance of God's message. Elijah teaches us that, despite obstacles and adversities, faith in God can allow us to achieve the unimaginable. Moreover, Elijah's story is a powerful reminder that God is always present, ready to support us on our path. When we face challenges, we can remember that just as God gave Elijah the strength to run ahead of the horses, he can also give us the strength to overcome our own challenges. The key lies in fully trusting him and following his guidance in our daily lives. We can apply the principles of this story by trusting God in all circumstances. If we are willing to submit to his will and trust in his strength, we can witness miracles and perform extraordinary feats. Elijah's run serves as an eternal testimony of what is possible when we have unwavering faith and obey God. May this story inspire us all to seek a deeper relationship with God and to trust him to guide and empower us in all areas of our lives. May we run our own races with the same faith and determination as Elijah, knowing that with God, all things are possible. Please leave your thoughts about the video topic in the comments, always respecting others' opinions. I hope you enjoyed the video. If this content was valuable to you, I ask for your support by subscribing so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Share this video with family and friends, give it a like, and leave your opinion in the comments. This helps the video reach more people. Together we can enlighten more minds and expand our understanding. Thank you for being here, and may God bless you.